4 passing titles. 4 different seasons where, on paper, one man was the most accurate quarterback in football. In the whole history of the NFL, one guy has 4 passing titles and no gold jacket to show for. His name is Ken Anderson. February 5th, 2026, NFL Honors. Anderson makes the final ballot as a senior nominee, closest he's ever been, and they send him home. The gold jacket went to Roger Craig, 49ers running back, coached in San Francisco by a guy named Bill Walsh. Same Bill Walsh who, 10 years before he ever met Joe Montana, was standing on the sideline in Cincinnati, building his whole offense around one quarterback. 4 passing titles, 40 years outside Canton. Somebody's gotta explain that. Let's get into it. Every offense in the NFL runs some version of it. Quick throws, timing routes, 3-step drops. They call it the West Coast offense, and they give the credit to Joe Montana and the 80s Niners. That offense wasn't born in San Francisco. It was born in Cincinnati in 1971 under a 39-year-old assistant coach named Bill Walsh. And the quarterback he was handed to work with, Ken Anderson, out of Augustana College, Division III, 3rd round pick, 67th overall. Anderson wasn't a gunslinger. Walsh knew it. What he had was a kid with a fast release and great accuracy. So he built an offense that only asked Anderson to do what he was already great at. Short throws, on rhythm, 5-7 yards a pop, bleed the defense out. That's the West Coast offense. That's the one you watch every Sunday. Walsh drew it up in Cincinnati, on Ken Anderson's arm, 7 years before Joe Montana ever got drafted. And in 1974, it broke the league in half. The average NFL quarterback that year completed just over half his passes. Anderson completed almost 2 out of every 3. He led the league in completions, passer rating, yards per attempt. Walsh had proof his offense worked. Proof came in the shape of a Division III kid nobody had scouted. 8 years later, he completed 70.6% of his passes over a full season. That was the NFL record. It stood for 27 years, until Drew Brees finally caught it in 2009. When Walsh eventually left Cincinnati and landed in San Francisco, he brought that playbook with him, handed it to Joe Montana, and history decided to name it after San Francisco. But Montana was Walsh's second quarterback. Anderson was the first. January 10th, 1982. AFC Championship. Bengals vs. Chargers. 9 degrees below zero. Wind chill of 59 below. Coldest game by wind chill ever played in the NFL. And on the other side of the field stood the media's guy, Dan Fouts. Fouts couldn't throw. 2 picks. Sacked twice. Chargers got inside the Bengals' 40-yard line 5 times in the second half. Scored on none of them. The best passing offense in football just quit working. Ken Anderson was 14 for 22 that day. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Bengals won 27-7. First Super Bowl appearance in Bengals history. Now here's the part that gets me. The Freezer Bowl wasn't a one-off. It was the exclamation point on the best season of Anderson's career. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, all 3 in the same season. 2 weeks later, Super Bowl XVI, Pontiac Silverdome, Bengals versus the 49ers. Anderson versus old coach's new quarterback, Joe Montana. Anderson goes for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 73.5 completion percentage. That was a Super Bowl record. Bengals lose 26-21. And right there, that game, that final score, is where the Hall of Fame case died. It doesn't matter that his defense gave up 20 in the first half. Doesn't matter that the run game got him nothing. Doesn't matter he was the best passer on the field that day. He lost. And when you lose the Super Bowl and you play in Cincinnati, the Riders are done with you. Okay, let's do the math. Here's Ken Anderson's career. 32,838 passing yards, 197 touchdown passes, 81.9 career passer rating, 4 passing titles, 1 NFL MVP. Now put those numbers next to 2 first ballot Hall of Famers. Terry Bradshaw, 4 Super Bowl rings, first ballot Hall of Famer, on TV every Sunday. Anderson threw for almost 5,000 more yards than Bradshaw, completed a bigger percentage of his throws, retired with a passer rating 11 points higher. Troy Aikman, 3 rings, first ballot. Anderson threw 32 more touchdowns than Troy Aikman, higher career passer rating too. More touchdowns than Aikman, more yards than Bradshaw, higher rating than both of them. But now, the honest part. Bradshaw was throwing to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, handing off to Franco Harris, getting blocked by Mike Webster, coached by Chuck Noll. Aikman was throwing to Michael Irvin, handing off to Emmitt Smith, getting blocked by Larry Allen, coached by Jimmy Johnson. Every one of those guys, every one, is in Canton. Anderson's best receiver for most of his prime was Isaac Curtis. Curtis was a good player, never made an all-pro team. The running back cycled through. The offensive line was nothing special. He put up those numbers alone, in Cincinnati, running a system he was helping invent while he ran it, against defensive rules built to stop him. So how does this actually happen? How's a 4-time passing champ just sit outside Canton? Let's start with who votes. The Hall of Fame vote isn't fans. It isn't ex-players. It's 50 sports writers, most of them working on the East Coast. Cincinnati is not their beat. When Anderson was picking defenses apart in 1974, the writers were writing about Staubach in Dallas and Greasy in Miami. When he won MVP in 1981, they were writing about Joe Montana. Anderson was the guy they had to mention on Monday. He was never the guy they built a Sunday column around. For 40 years, he lived as an afterthought. Then, 2 years ago, the Hall of Fame changed the rules. The board approved a new format. Now the senior candidates, the pioneers, the old-timers, they don't get their own ballot anymore. They get lumped in with modern head coaches and billionaire team executives, all on one ballot. 5 names, vote for 3, 80% threshold, max of 3 actually getting in. Anderson finally makes the final ballot as a senior, first time ever. Who's on it with him? 80s running back Roger Craig, 70s defensive end L.C. Greenwood, and then Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl coach, and Robert Kraft, the guy who owns the Patriots. So Anderson isn't competing against other quarterbacks. He's competing against the guy who built the Patriots dynasty and the guy who paid for it. Vote comes in, one name gets called, Roger Craig. Fine, he's a deserving guy. Belichick, denied. 6 rings, didn't get in. Anderson, denied. Every quarterback who ever ran Bill Walsh's offense has a bust in Canton, except the guy who ran it first. Anderson has never gone on TV to complain, never begged for a vote. He just keeps waiting. So here's my closing argument. Tell me why 4 passing titles, an NFL MVP, and a masterclass in the coldest game in NFL history isn't worthy of a gold jacket. And if you want to see the same East Coast machine bury another quarterback for playing in the wrong city, pull up our Warren Moon video next. Same story, different guy. New here, this is what we do. The snubs, the forgotten heroes, the pioneers the league won't put back on the shelf. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. This is the Game Day Giants. Thanks for watching.